Hello there and welcome to the channel. My name's Annie and this is my creative detour. I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas and is looking forward to starting a new year. We had a wonderful Christmas celebrating with family, but they've all gone home now, flown back to their different locations, and the house is starting to get back into a normal rhythm, but it's been so much fun celebrating with family. So I just thought I'd take this opportunity to thank you all for tuning in, and hello to all my new subscribers. If you're visiting, welcome today, and hi to all my regulars. Thank you so much for all of your support this year. I really appreciate it, and for all your lovely comments. Now today I thought I would do something a little bit fun. I worked on Boxing Day and I've got quite a few shifts coming up over the next few days, and I just felt like getting into the craft room today and playing. I've got a big long list of projects that I'd like to do, but I just wanted to play today. And I was sitting in bed this morning with a cup of tea and flicking through some magazines that I'd bought, and I was just thinking, I just want to go to my desk today and play and have some fun and not be driven to get something done or to tick a box or anything like that. I just wanted to play. And while I was flicking through this magazine, I found something that I wanted to play with. Now, for those of you that have not heard of this magazine, this is a publication here in Australia, and it's also available in New Zealand, which doesn't really help some of you, but the principle is the same. I'm sure there's magazines in your country that you could do this with. This one is called Breathe, and it's got well-being, mindfulness, creativity, and some travel-themed things. I'll do a little quick flick through. This is issue number 54. It came out in December, November or December, something like that. And so you can see that it's got some lovely images in it. It's got fantastic illustrations that you can cut up, and information about, nice articles. This one's about joy in the details and creating things. There's some spaces for journaling and putting your thoughts down. There's some cooking information leading up to Christmas. There's some gardening information. Then there's some self-reflection, but the imagery is what I like the most. There's always a lovely big postcard that you can use to create something with. These would be lovely for journal covers, some of these, and travel at the back usually. And there's always some photography in it as well. Now, the bit that caught my eye was the gardening section. And I spotted this page here. As soon as I looked at this page, I thought, I want to do something with all of those lovely illustrations of seed packets. So that's what I'm going to take out of this magazine today. I'm just going to cut the page out of it. Let's do that. So I'm just going to run my knife down and take that page out. On the other page is a traditional stolon, and it looks delicious, doesn't it? But that might be another project. So I'll pop that to the side. Now I'm looking at this page and thinking, what do I want to do with it? Because the illustrations are the hero, and I don't want to play with them too much. I might enhance them a little bit, but I don't want to overcomplicate the project. I want to just let the imagery shine on its own and take advantage of it. I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this page down to some thicker quality paper. I don't want to use cardstock because I think I'll use some cardstock to make something out of it. So I don't want to get too thick, but something slightly thicker than copy paper. I have some cartridge paper I might use. Okay, I've pulled out a piece of cartridge paper and I'm just going to glue that on the back with some glue stick, and I'm going to try and get it really well covered because I'm going to cut it up. Yes, so I hope you all had a fantastic Christmas and starting to shift now into doing some planning for next year. As I said, I've got a lot of shifts to do at work, with it being I work in retail. I've got a casual job in retail. And so obviously the Boxing Day sales were on. So it was a busy day. I'll just burnish that down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fussy cut all of these out, and I'll see you in a moment. Okay, I've done all of that. I've fussy cut it out. And the reason I wanted to do this page is because it was just so striking. The little illustrations of the seed packets just drew my attention, and the colour palette, and just how whimsical they are and how fun they are. And I love pulling illustrations out of magazines and using Magazine Fodder to create things. So this is what just felt right for today to play with. And you can see that I have grouped some of them together. I've got the pansies and the lavender together, and the basil and the tomato, they're meant to be together. Got cosmos and some tulips. I've got some sunflower seeds and some peas, carrots and turnips, strawberries and corn, beetroot and onion, and this one is apples that grow and pumpkin seeds. So what I'm thinking is I'd like to turn some of them into hidden paper clips and some of them into page tabs. So let's figure that out, and I think that I'm going to pull some cardstock out. I've just got some white cardstock and some craft. So I just want to decide whether I like it on craft. Some of them I think will look nice and smart on white, and some will look better on craft. So I'm going to figure out which ones I like on white and which I like on craft, and we'll go from there. So here we go. I've decided I'm going to do 4 on white and 4 on craft. And like I said, I'm going to do some as page tabs and some as hidden paper clips. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut the cardstock to make the bases for either the page tabs or for the paper clips. So let's get our cutters out and some measuring. So let's cut down some height first. I'm going to cut it at around 2.5 inches, and we'll play with it and see. Yes, that looks all right, doesn't it? So all I'm doing here is I'm just figuring out the size. Now, that doesn't really help you very much because you're wanting to probably know what sizes I'm doing, but it totally depends on what your image is. So there we go. I've cut it so that it is around 6.5 centimeters tall and 12 centimeters long, and that in imperial is 2.5 inches by 4 3/4 inches, and I've scored it in the middle, and I'm going to round the edges on this, and then I'll be able to stick those on and do a little bit of doodling. So let's round the edges. So I can see how that's going to work now. You can see that I have rounded the edges for it to be a page tab, and I'm going to decorate this card a little bit, and then I'll be able to glue these on. I will possibly do some doodling on this as well, but that's what my page tabs are going to look like, and like I said, I'll probably decorate the background a little bit. Let's figure out our paper clips so I can get into a mass make kind of a situation. Okay, so I've just cut a little bit of cardstock, and I'm going to use some of this red gingham. I think that would look nice behind it. And then I'm going to make them into a hidden paperclip just by putting a paperclip onto a piece of cardstock and then put a little bit of ribbon onto it like this. And I think then I'll just glue on my image onto my paperclip and cut a bottom onto it and keep it simple. So what I'll do now is I will prep a whole lot of bases for these, and I might put a few together and then we'll do a couple on camera. So I'll be back in a moment. Okay, I'm back and it's many hours later. I've actually had lunch, I've played with the grandchildren, I've watched a few episodes of a series that we're watching on Prime, and I thought, now it's time to go back and play for a little bit longer. Now I've made 6 of them. I've made 3 paper clips and I've made 3 page tabs, and I've been having some fun. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make one of them with you on camera, and I'll show you what I've been doing. I'll do the page tab first. I have stamped just a little stamp on this one. It says figure 7. This one I didn't do anything with because it's pansies and it's very busy. But I will actually put a little bit of line work onto some of these. So I'm just going to come back in with the black and deepen up some of those shadows where I can. I'll just look at whatever's going on each image and go over some of the line work on it because they're quite sketchy. So this one I'm just going to go over some of the letters, and I'll come in on the whites. This one I'm just going to put in some of the shadows underneath, and then I'll come and put some highlights in as well. Okay, just using a gel pen and putting a few of the highlights in and dotting a few white dots around. I'm beefing up those highlights so that they really are visible. And I'm just going to ink the edges, and I've been using black soot. Now the images themselves are quite irregular, which I like. I don't want them to be perfect. So I've got those ready to go onto my piece of cardstock that is going to be my page tab, and you can see that I've cut a decorative tab on it. I want to put a little piece of washi onto it, and I pulled this piece off because I thought the colouring went quite well with the 2 images, and I pulled it off. It's an All in Create washi tape, and it's number 58. I'm not sure of the name of it, but the number is 58. So I'm just going to put that onto the edge here and fold it over, and I'll just trim that down so that it follows the curve of the tab. A little bit of washi on there, that's all right. And now I'm just going to glue these on with some art glitter glue. Give that a burnish. And stick the other side on. I actually had quite a lot of fun with this. I got into a bit of a zone mass making, and it was just what I felt like doing today, just zoning out, creating, and it being simple, just playing. It's just what I felt like doing. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of line work, just loosely. Doesn't have to be perfect, around the edge. Might put a few little squiggles on this one. Now I also want to put a eyelet in it. So let's punch a hole. Punch a small hole into the tab. I've got a little black eyelet, just a tiny one, that I'll set. You're thinking, oh Annie, you've closed it up. It's not going to matter because I'm going to glue this over a page anyway, and the tab bit's going to stick out. Now I do have just a few little embellishments. I have some jump rings that I've decorated. So I'm just going to put them on. This one just says July, August. Just a little jump ring that's got a little piece of paper in it that had something on that I wanted. And then I dropped in some glossy accents. There we go. There's the other side of it. So we'll just sit that there to dry, and we'll go on to our paper clip. So I have cut, like I mentioned previously, I've cut a piece of scrap cardstock. I have my 2 images. So let's ink those up. Got tomato and basil. And I have stamped something on both of them. This one, I smudged it. It just says Tuesday, February 6th. But I didn't do a very good job of that. That was pretty average. This one worked out better. It's got a number 2 on it. I just stamped a number 2. And I'm just going to do the same thing again. I'm going to put in some line work just to help beef up some of those shadows and to make it look a little bit sketchy. Yes, that's good. And then with our basil, I'll do a similar thing. I'll just go into those dark spots a little bit, add some more shadows. Not overthinking it, I'm just putting them wherever. Okay, that will do. And then we'll do the same with our gel pen. I'll beef up these lines here, make them pop a little bit more. And then the same on the tomato. I'll just come into those whites and emphasize them a little bit more. All right, let's glue those down. Yes, so I've had a lovely relaxing day off. Probably a little bit like what lots of people do on Boxing Day, on their relaxing Boxing Day. I didn't have a relaxing Boxing Day because I was working, but I've definitely had a relaxing day today, which is lovely. Now let's put some lines on this one. I'll put a few zigzags. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to glue my ribbon on. So let's put a decent amount of glue on this scrap around the paper clip all the way to the bottom. And I've just got a piece of gingham ribbon and I'm going to lay that into it. Leave a little bit of a top on it and glue the back down. So there you can see the paper clip is fully enclosed into the ribbon. And I'll just trim that down a little bit, about there. Put a fishtail on it. There we go. And now I'm just going to glue this on over the top. They were so easy to make and they were fun to make. And I used up a little bit of magazine fodder that I was drawn to, because sometimes, you know, when you are flicking through a magazine, you just go, oh, I really like that and I want to use that someday, but then you never go back and find it, and then you might be flicking through the magazine 6 months later and think, oh, I love that image, and then you still haven't done anything with it. And that's why when I saw it today, I just thought, I'm going to play with that today. That's what I'm going to do. I've got quite a few projects that I'm either halfway through or almost all the way through preparing to show you. but I just thought, oh, I feel like playing. These would be lovely, these ones in a cooking journal. Or if you'd been to an Italian restaurant and you're journaling and you had a really nice pizza and you're wanting to show some photos or some memories of going somewhere, traveling to Italy, or the pumpkin one would be good for Thanksgiving. There we go. Now I just have two little embellishments once again to go on. Now I have number one. We'll put it on this side, and I was going to put it here. There we go. And this one says October, November. October the 1st, November the 2nd. There we go. Didn't they turn out cute? Now, I'm going to clear the decks and I'll bring in all the other ones that I made this morning and show you those. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, let's have a little look at our page tab. So that was the one that we made earlier. And I have a little eyelet in it so that I can hang a charm or something off of it. It's got pansies on it. And then on the back, it's got some lavender. And on both sides, I have put a little embellishment on it. On this side, I have stamped just a figure 7, and I've done some pen work on it. Now, the other ones that I made, so this one's the beetroot. So there we go. It's got beetroot on one side. And I've put some washi on the side like I did with the other one. I've stamped it and then put an embellishment on it. And I've also done some line work on it as well. So it looks good. That one's got figure 7 on it, a little bit of washi and some pen work. The tulips, let's have a look how they turned out. So we've got tulips, some washi on there, once again an eyelet. And I've done some shadows and some highlights in pen on both sides and put an embellishment on both sides. There's the cosmos. And then we have our sweet corn, and you can see once again there's an eyelet and some washi. So I've done the same thing over and over again. I've just stamped it with some different images, put a little bit of pen work and some highlights, and we've got a sunflower on the other side. So let's have a look at what they look like on the page. So you can see that they don't open up completely because of that eyelet, but that doesn't matter. I've kept the eyelet where the tab is. And so they will just go on and they can glue on to the page like that. Or you can put them down the bottom and just glue a little bit and keep it as a tuck spot. If you wanted to, you could have it so that you could tuck something into it. And I will use those in different journals. They look quite good. There's the sunflower on the other side. So they'll go into my stash for when I want to use them. So there we go. There's the page tab, and I can glue that down if I want to, or I can leave it, like I said, as a tuck spot. They're cute. All right, let's have a look now at our paper clips. So there's the tomato one that we did, and it has our basil on the other side. This one is our pumpkin, and you can see that I put an eyelet down here. I just wanted to put an eyelet in. And on the other side, it has peas, and I've done some pen work and some highlights and stuck an embellishment on. So let's have a look at how they work. It is a hidden paper clip, so it will go onto the page just like that, and the ribbon will stick out the top, which is what I wanted. And there it is on the other page with the pumpkins. And we could hang something off of there if you wanted to. Let's look at the others. We have our strawberries. So once again, same technique, stamp and pen work, highlights. On the back of this one I did some scallops. It has some scalloping on the inside of it. You can see I stamped 25 cents and it's got some scallops of green. So then on the outside of this one I did some scallops and I just stuck an embellishment on that's yellow and it says crown. So let's have a look at that one. It looks cute on the page as well. There we go. And then the last one was our carrots. And you can see, once again, same technique, I just repeated it. Got some carrots, I stamped on a number, put some pen work on with some highlights, stuck an embellishment on. And on the other side, we've got turnips. This one I stamped the number 2 on it, did some squiggly lines and some shadows and highlights and put an embellishment on. So let's have a look at that one. There we go. And it will stick out the top as well. So there we go. There's our page tabs and our enclosed paper clips that we made out of some magazine fodder that I found this morning while I was having a cup of tea in bed. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you spending the time watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. That would be wonderful. And leave a comment below of which one's your favorite. And have a look through all of your magazines. I'm sure that most of you have got some magazines that you can find some fodder in that you just think, oh, I love that image, I'm going to turn it into something, and you can make it into whatever, make it into journaling cards or into tags or into bookmarks or belly bands or whatever. And it was super fun, no pressure, just playing and enjoying the day. So hopefully you got something out of that little session today. So that's all from me today. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and have an opportunity to create something fun and new. And I will see you again very soon with another project. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye for now.